So first off, how did you feel when you first heard about the Pearl Harbor attacks, and how old were you?
I was 6.5 years old, and I didn't know anything about attacks or military, whatever. But I was playing in a little, Sunday. I was playing at Linscott School, elementary school, and my brother came, grabbed me, and we're going home. And I didn't want to go home. He didn't explain why, just that we had to go home. So that was my introduction to the Pearl Harbor attack.
And did you notice, probably not, it's a 6.5-year-old, but of any preconceptions of events to come, like the impending internment? Was there, did you notice fear around your household?
Well, yeah, there's always fear, okay, because there were orders that we had to turn in, radios, weapons. But fortunately, okay, the police chief, Peter Graves, Watsonville police chief, the police station is in Japantown. It was only a half a block or so away from our house. So the police department was very understanding, because we had grown up together. Okay, the Japantown and the police department were always together. So there's no animosity. There's, as far as the police chief is concerned, this is something he has to do, and we recognize that. So we turn in our weapons and cameras and such. So that's not a problem. But as far as fear is concerned, yeah, there's fear of the unknown. A lot of rumors. We didn't know what to believe. But there were, coupled with that will be individuals who were white racists who took it out on us.
Did you notice any of what you can now probably identify as propaganda at the time in the newspapers and stuff about what was happening to you?
Well, it depends on the editor, okay, and the paper. The Examiner, the Chronicle, McClatchy papers. When I say McClatchy papers, I mean Fresno Bee, Sacramento Bee. Papers often prided themselves on being anti-minorities, anti-Jew, anti-black, anti-Catholics. So, they're the ones, the Hearst papers, they're the ones who the idea of yellow journalism comes from sensationalism in reporting. And so what they're going to be doing is writing stories that will sell newspapers. And so what did they write about? Now, my mother's not going to buy an Examiner because she can't read English. So, and newspapers were really important, and still are, important in the careers of politicians. So if a politician says something that we would take as derogatory toward Asians, newspapers are going to pick up on that, and they're going to support, sponsor, endorse that particular candidate. So rumors played an important part. Today you have instant news. Something happens elsewhere in the world, within a minute or two, we see it on television. That wasn't the case in the old days. Plus our radios were taken away. So yeah, plenty of rumors. And it's hard to make good decisions if you don't have the truth. My brothers, 3 and 4, okay, they had just graduated from Watsonville High School, and they objected to going because they were American citizens and they believed to be American citizens. They studied history and civics in high school. My mother understood why she would have to go. my father passed on. So anyway, my brothers were classified as 1A, and 1A meant physically fit, mentally physically fit to serve the United States military. They were reclassified by the draft board to be 4C. And what's 4C? Enemy alien. Number one, they weren't the enemy, and two, they weren't aliens. They were American citizens. They resented being reclassified as the enemy alien.
And how much time were you given to pack up before you had to leave?
Okay, we were number 16 out of about 40, I think. So we're number 16, so we're one of the earlier ones. And ours was issued in April, and we were asked to pack up, be ready to leave on April 27th, 1942. So, but we knew it was coming, but the order was for 4 days. Now, San Pedro in the Los Angeles area is a fishing area, and they had less than 48 hours that they had to back up because they were in a strategic area. Plus, they had fishing boats. So what? Well, fishing boats have radios. What kind of radio? Shortwave radio. Now, shortwave radio, okay, you could, in fact, we used to listen in our home. We used to listen to broadcasts from Japan by way of shortwave radio. So shortwave radio was a way of communicating with Japan. So we had to turn in our radios, especially the shortwave radio. Okay, they had a different frequency, whatever.
Were you able to keep your house, or did you have to sell it?
You know, different families did different things, depending. Okay, we owned. I don't know how my father did it, but we owned our own home. So we boarded up the house. We didn't sell it. We boarded it up and left everything there. We gave the keys to Stacy Irwin. She was an attorney and a good friend. In fact, remember the dog I told you about? Yeah. Sonny, our dog. Gave the dog to her to take care of. Okay. So now, when we came home, the weeds were really high. This is in August of 1945. We came home, the weeds were really tall. And it's a miracle that nobody put a match to it, because it would have burned the whole place down. When we came home, there was a hobo living, not in the house. He didn't live in the house. He lived in the garage. Actually, he lived in the back seat of the car. Now, we had an old Chrysler, and we took the wheels off and jacked it up on blocks, okay? Because the wheels wouldn't be any good, because it'd be flat after 4 years, you know. So anyway, so when we came home, he bolted, he took off. And he left everything there. And we chased him, and we lived near the Pajaro River, and that's where a lot of the hobos lived, and homeless. And we couldn't find him. He was a caretaker for our home. We wanted to thank him, but we never got a chance to do that. So we didn't have anything stolen. Now, my wife's family in San Mateo, when they opened up the Beacon storage area, room, everything was stolen. It was like the Egyptian grave robbers had gone through. There was nothing. So all they had was what they had in their suitcase. It was shocking. So that happened to many people. Well, our family, we were lucky.